Good evening. You all know what that music means. It's SEC After Dark. What's up, fellas? Corey Burton here. Jake Thomas, Jeb Beechum, Stephen Willis. Going to bring you through the next edition of SEC After Dark. It is National Signing Day, so happy National Signing Day to you. Hope your teams got some great recruits. We're really gonna focus on Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. If you don't like it, join the chat and ask us a question, and we will answer it for sure. You thought I was going to say something really tough, didn't you?
Yeah, it was something hard. I was expecting hardness, but it just wasn't there.
I am wearing a Thrasher jersey after all, so.
Easy. Don't get on the hardness right now. We need to wait till off the rails to do that.
Yes. Our off the rail segment. It's going to be a good one. Well, it always is. So it never disappoints, right? Mm-hmm. So, how's everybody doing?
Doing pretty well.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Well, we are presented by BetOnline.ag. It's the number one place to get all your bets. It's a new and updated website. If you want to sign up, use the promo code Bleav. You can use that one. They will match your deposit 50%. Well, they give you a 50% welcome bonus if you do use that promo code. BetOnline has some great odds and props things. I can't wait to see what they put out for the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit and talk a little Joe Shiesty and his comment about his necklace. That was pretty funny. I'm sure we'll get a prop on that on him mentioning that at Media Day. I would imagine. But if you want to bet on something, go to BetOnline and they will probably have it. I've seen props on the Grammys. So that's good. And I got in there and played blackjack and got my ass handed to me. So, what's up, guys? What's happening? What's happening is this show. This show is happening. This is a happening place to be. You better hit that. So, BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Subscribe, hit the bell. YouTube. You can follow us on a million different channels because we do this thing called echoing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do this thing called echoing, and we're rocking and rolling with that. So I'm excited. I got off the phone with a guy at playactionpools.com. They have this new bingo game coming out for the Super Bowl. Steve, I sent you a link with it. I can't remember, Jake, if I sent you one too.
You did.
Okay. What'd you guys think about that?
I think it was pretty cool. Something I'd be interested maybe in doing, but I haven't dug into it too deeply yet.
Yeah, I hadn't dug in deeply yet either.
It's still brand new. I don't think they fully set it up for that week. So I think Christian over there at Play Action Pools is going to send us out a link, and we'll start a contest for sure. We'll just drop one in there and let's rock and roll. We'll use Play Action Pools as our method of, and we'll definitely do one for March Madness and be on the lookout for a promo code on that one. So we'll be on the March Madness tip. So. Follow us on social media. It's down on the screen somewhere. You can find us. Jake's usually tweeting. He's down in the dumps right now because his Auburn football program is just falling apart, man. And it's
you
sad.
You smell that? Y'all smell that? Smells like a dumpster fire.
I thought you were going to ask me if I smelled what The Rock was cooking. Okay.
Yeah.
There are rumors right now that Brian Harsin might not make it through this week.
Wow.
I don't know how serious that is, and I don't know what's going on, but people are actually talking about that. And it's bizarre. And they are absolutely a dumpster fire.
The fact that we've gotten here to this point where there's even rumors of Brian Harsin being fired immediately, that's got to tell you all you need to know, right?
I mean, how bad is it when Austin Davis gets down there and stays like 2 weeks and he's like, "No, I'm getting the heck out of here. Bye.
See you guys."
Yeah, I'm like, dang.
I left Seattle for this, man. I would.
Yeah.
Almighty.
He saw Russell Wilson and then got down and saw TJ Finley and he was like, "Nope."
Who's this guy? Why is he a quarterback?
He's like, "I sat through failure to launch. I am not sitting through this."
Yeah.
Is this Auburn High School?
Yeah.
we at the high school? What's going on here?
Yeah,
I think he got confused.
bad.
So,
But at least they got the #1 team in basketball. I guess that's going forward.
They're a basketball school. They absolutely are.
no,
They're a
Steve,
basketball school.
they're an everything school.
Oh, please.
No.
Bruce Pearl.
According to Bruce Pearl, the basketball coach at Auburn, that should tell you everything you need to know if he's making those pronouncements.
Yes.
They're an everything school, Steve. Don't forget it, okay? Do not forget it. J-Boy's going to come ascend from the heavens and strike you down. What's up, John? What's up, Stacey? My two favorite associate producers. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if they were to get rid of Brian Harsin, that would be the most hilariously bad move I've seen in a very long time. It's basically voluntarily going through what Tennessee went through when Lane Kiffin left. It'd be volunteering to do that. It would set the program back 5 years.
But it would be the most Auburn thing to do, though.
Yeah. Oh, it totally would.
I don't think there's enough yellow wood in the world to hold up that thing if it happens.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
yellow wood. I love
Yellow
it.
wood.
Is that the wood you use behind you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good. I thought it was solid. I thought it was sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a new paint job, though.
It's my shotgun shack in the Florida Everglades to prevent people from finding me. I'm off the grid.
There you go.
He is off the grid. That's why he's got a land shark hat. That's not actually an Ole Miss hat. That is his. Steve is a swamp charter. He
Shoot.
takes you out on the airboats.
Yeah. That's why his internet never goes down, because he's got it rigged up where they can't get to him.
Mm-hmm.
He is so far off the grid.
I'm like the Gene Hackman character from Enemy of the State. I just live in a fence that nobody knows about that somehow isn't connected to anything, but he can get on the internet and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's unreal. Some of the comments, their football program is already financially broke, so that's good. How does the AD survive? Good question. When they fired Gus, they thought they were going to offer Napier, and he was going to come running. So I think Harsin was like their 17th choice. Yeah, it's getting bad down there. Like they're really locking up that 7th spot in the West, man. It's quite comical.
Yeah, the COVID year to change a coach. Everybody that changed a coach during the COVID year hired somebody like Shane Beamer, and that worked out. But he was a position guy at Oklahoma. Steve Sarkisian, offensive coordinator at Texas. They have more money than God.
Yeah.
And they hired an offensive coordinator. The
And
only
he's
one
going to
that
be
went out.
successful, though. He's got Quinn Ewers now.
No. I'm not saying it's not
rolling.
successful. I'm saying that the university at least hired smartly because they were losing a ton of money. Auburn went out and hired somebody for $5 million a year from Boise State with no connections to the area other than coaching at Arkansas State for 1 year.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
Thank you, Kenneth.
It's bad. Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Great job. Love the show. Love
By the way,
I love that you're in the chat.
Yeah. By the way, my thumbnail tomorrow for my show is pretty freaking hilarious.
Is that the Malik Heath one?
No.
Where you're like this, where you're doing the Home Alone pose?
Well, yeah, I have that one, but I also have one that just has Jimbo's picture on it, and it says clown ? And I'm like,
The thumbnail for this show tonight was amazing too, because Corey was asleep.
usually,
What?
Yeah.
but that's usually because I'm talking, so I understand that.
I've heard this Ole Miss thing before. Quite a few times.
I figured Jeb would be the one to sleep because he hardly ever gets to talk. He's like just the third wheel in here.
I know. I just enjoy listening. It's great.
He's along for the ride. He's just tuning in via video chat.
There you go.
Just throwing my snide comments when I get a chance. That's all I need.
Hey, yeah.
Can we talk about Lane trolling Jimbo?
Yes, please.
Lane trolls everybody. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
But I have never seen somebody get so mad as Jimbo did today. It was the equivalent of that Hugh Freeze tweet, where it's like, if you have any complaints about what we're doing, reach out to compliance and quit slandering these players. and all that. That was the equivalent of what happened. And all he did, Lane said, it was like jokingly, I said earlier, I hope Texas A&M has a luxury tax hit for their signing class. And that just blew everything up.
Yeah,
and then you have coaches in our league say it, clown acts, Fisher said. Irresponsible as hell. Multiple coaches in our league, the guys griping about NIL and transfer portal are using it the most. That's the ironic part. It does piss me off. Yeah. It's funny, man.
It's absolutely amazing to make somebody that mad. It was almost like he was protesting too much. He was absolutely come off sounding more guilty than when he went in there. If he just wouldn't have acknowledged it, he would have been fine. But after that, it was like, oh, y'all definitely spent $30 million on a signing class.
Yeah, because he's very touchy about it. To me, it's insulting to the players we recruited. That's why they would come to Texas A&M. You ever been to a game here? There ain't a better university in this country, and not a better checkbook than $30 million. Yeah. So. Lane Kiffin probably joking, probably a little bit serious in there too as well.
I think that the Ole Miss's whole February National Signing Day press conference, the fact that they held it a day early, was so he could light that fuse, walk out of the room, and make Jimbo have to deal with it. Everybody went to Saban and assumed he was going after Saban. He wasn't going after Saban. It was absolutely about Jimbo. I don't even know how Saban got brought into it other than the fact that he's Saban.
Because Saban and it's Alabama, and they again, Alabama, the state of Alabama changed some laws as well, right, Jake?
Yes, I do believe that's correct.
Yeah. I wish Georgia would use NIL more. We got our star quarterback doing NIL at the cash register at Raising Cane's. Yeah. Jimbo is an idiot. John, I hope you're not just now figuring that out. But
yeah. Stacey makes a great point because I seen something today that they got floated around. Jimbo in his career averages about 8 wins a year. He may have a year where he goes undefeated, where he gets to the national championship game. But yeah, he's getting the number 1 recruiting class by winning 8 games a year without any, dealings behind, that's bullcrap.
Well, just think about this. They're about to spend $100 million and end up in the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Right.
That's going to be the return on their investment. It's hilarious.
It is.
Mm-hmm. They're going to spend more than half the states in this country's running budget for their entire state. And they're going to go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
But hey, Jimbo might get the Mayo bath. Yeah, he might get the Mayo bath.
Might. That's the key word, might. He's got to beat the mighty Louisville Cardinals to do so.
The NC State Wolfpack. Oh, wait, no, he's already ducked the NC State Wolfpack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, can they use the 12th man anymore after canceling a game because they said they didn't have enough players, when in reality they just didn't have a quarterback?
Yeah.
I think.
Can they use the 12th man?
It does seem like you should lose that title at that point.
Yeah, because their whole thing is they have the guy eternally at the ready to help their university if it called upon if needed.
Yeah, so if they would have just say that they ran the course and got to the SEC championship game, didn't have, Calzada got hurt or whatever, and they somehow beat Georgia to get that 4th playoff spot. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have a quarterback. Well, you think they was going to jump out, drop out of the playoffs without a quarterback? No. That's all it was. They didn't have a quarterback. They didn't want to play.
Yeah, they didn't want to play in a quote meaningless bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, Lane knows Ole Miss kicked their ass last year. All the defensive line, all their lines come in. Ole Miss just beat the hell out of them. And that's the reason Lane Kiffin just feels like he has the ability to go through and talk about whatever the hell he wants when it comes to A&M and just needle Jimbo as much as he wants to.
I don't think Kiffin really cares. He just needles whoever and whenever.
Yeah.
That's his personality.
Yeah. What he did to Urban. I mean,
God. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's just like, what is going on? I mean, he might as well say he drove Urban into retirement.
He did. he drove Urban to the bar.
And then Urban drove himself out of a job at that bar.
Yeah, exactly. And I was a 20-year-old blonde. Drove him out.
Yeah.
I was grinding up on him. So
He was like, "You got Coors Light here?"
that's right. He took a page out of your book. Coors Light. I just lost to the Browns. Give me a Coors Light. Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad to say anymore because the Browns are pretty good.
I don't care what anybody says. All Baker Mayfield is a sober Johnny Manziel.
I mean, yeah, you're right about that. But
He ain't good.
I mean, his team around him. I mean, Nick Chubb's a hoss.
But he's not bad enough to where Austin Davis wouldn't stay at Auburn to go coach Baker. I think he would rather go coach Baker Mayfield
Yeah.
than TJ Finley.
John's tempting me.
Uh-oh.
We're not even to the off the rails segment yet.
No, gosh, that's good.
Oh, man.
That's good, John.
Oh, John. Okay, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah,
You're just trying to get us to go right past National Signing Day, aren't you?
man. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Do not do it.
This
yet.
is, but we're talking about NIL seriously. If we're going to be serious about NIL, and everybody talks about Texas A&M spending $30 million on a class, if they go 8-4 and go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, they're not going to spend $30 million on the class next year. They're not going to be able to get that money.
No.
No, they're not.
And
Because
so
investors would be like, no, we want a new coach.
yeah, and it's all going to balance out. It doesn't need hyper regulation. In fact, you just need to let it on. It's going to even out because eventually the schools and the NIL groups are going to be competing against each other for money because it's the same money. Either money's going to Alabama or Alabama's NIL. They're not adding money on top of it. People aren't just throwing their money away. Well, they might be in Alabama, but they're not probably not in other states.
They definitely are in at College Station.
Yeah, well, Texas A&M's a cult.
Yes.
You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, complete from the ice cream men, cheerleaders, the whole 9 yards. A&M's a cult.
But I agree with you. I think the NIL, all this will calm down after a year or two of this kind of craziness.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
so will the
terrible
transfer
year
portal.
for Tennessee to be limiting their scholarships and not being able to take many people. We're missing all this fun. I really hate it. I really thought the portal transfers were going to be a lot more fun to watch and interesting. But
Portal transfers to me have been absolutely fun to watch.
yeah,
They have
it's
been.
working out real well for a couple of teams. Arkansas, Missouri,
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
I was hoping Caleb Williams would have ended up at Wisconsin. That would have been fun.
Oh, I was hoping that USC would not end up with a quarterback after they ran Jackson Dart off.
That would have been funny.
It just a walk-on campus. Like, well, that's bad news.
Well, I guess I'm the quarterback at
But-
USC. All right.
But this is what I don't understand. For real. This is what I don't understand. This is a team that went to the Alamo Bowl, did not win their conference championship, and because the quarterback, wide receiver, and head coach of that team goes to USC, who went 4-8 this year, USC's a playoff contender.
No.
That's the national media. They want it to be so. I mean, that's all you're hearing.
It's all clicks, man. I mean,
USC's not
are they going to be better? Are they going to be 4-8 next year? No, they're not going to be 4-8 next year. Are they going to be in the playoffs?
No.
No. Have you seen Utah play?
Sure.
Yeah, Utah is the most regressive team in the country, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Take line up in
unreal.
13 personnel and let's go.
I mean,
Put a
in
fullback
year
back there
two-
and let's go.
Love it. in year two, USC. In all seriousness, in year two, okay, you have a point. They might be able to get the Pac-12 back in the playoff, but not in year one.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, everybody's talking about that, and USC might be the contender for the Pac-12. but then they still have a long way to go to get to the playoff. And if they are Charmin ultra soft like Oklahoma has been the last few years, once they get to the playoffs, it's not going to matter. And you know what? If they're Charmin extra soft like that, Utah is going to chew them up. Stanford is going to chew them up. There are a couple of teams that play just real physical football that's a problem for that Charmin extra soft run and gun air raid offense that Lincoln Riley likes to run.
Mm-hmm.
The Air Charmin.
Yeah.
The Charmin roll offense. So yeah, it's I don't know. Like they've got to figure out an identity. They've got like Lane Kiffin. Lincoln Riley has got to see. Lane Kiffin's already in my head too. He's got to find that defensive coordinator that he's got to find his antithesis, if you will. He's got to find somebody that's going to bring out a competitive and physical edge in that football team. Alex Grinich, he was a great scheme guy, but he just wasn't that guy that he needed to be his coordinator. Like Dabo needed Brent Venables to make those Clemson teams extremely physical. You know, Mark Richt needed Jeremy Pruitt. He needed I don't want to say anybody needed Todd Grantham, but he needed Todd Grantham's mentality, I guess. He could have done away with the scheme and all the other stuff. But, you know, Brian Van Gorder early in his career, they needed him. Like Fulmer needed Chavis. You know, Saban had Kirby, you know, and Saban brings plenty of it, but he needed help. Like head coaches need help with that, with all of that. I mean, every great head coach, you look at their right hand coordinator, which if it's an offensive guy, it's the defensive coordinator, and vice versa.
Swinney had Will Venables, so
I think the fact that Lincoln Riley likes to play tempo, he has a problem with play volume. He also wants to get defensive coordinators that were successful in the Mike Leach tree. Mike Leach doesn't run tempo, so he doesn't have to deal with play volume. And that's the reason Alex Grinch is struggling a little bit to what's going on, because the play volume kind of matches up. I think, honestly, USC, if they could get somebody, one of the three safety looks, that somebody from the John Haycock tree, maybe a Barry Odom out there on the left coast, that would probably match up for what they're wanting to do a little bit better.
Yeah, like I really like watching Iowa State and Matt Campbell. I wish they had a better season last year, but you know they play a physical brand of football, and they still play that three safety look, and they just the way they do things, the way they scheme things up. Those guys are always in position, and they didn't lose because of scheme, or they didn't even lose because of toughness. They lost based on talent, and they lost because they couldn't make plays down the stretch. But I think you've got to go that route, because I mean, do you need an SEC defense to win the Pac-12? Absolutely not. But what I worry about with the Pac-12 champion, if it's USC especially, it's going to end up like another Michigan. You know, they waltz into the Orange Bowl thinking they're hot shit. Pardon my French.
Run the damn ball.
Run the damn ball, and then they get smoked by Georgia, who was reeling at that point.
Wasn't even really close.
It wasn't close.
The Cincinnati-Alabama game was closer than that Georgia-Michigan game.
And that one really wasn't close either. Like Cincinnati was never going to win that game. They were never going to come close to winning that game. Alabama kind of just nonchalantly handled business in that one.
But I think, we were talking, there's what you do offensively and what you're going to bread your brother with. There's a different definition to what complementary football looks like. So many people like to put it in a single box of what's going on. This is what complementary football looks like. But that isn't the case. What looks the same for what Ole Miss is doing with their lightning fast offense and defense is not going to be the same for Mike Leach and his defense. Is not going to be the same for Utah and his defense. And so because of that, you really have to find out what your complementary football looks like and what that is if you want to be successful.
Mm-hmm. You absolutely do. And that, I mean, people try to ignore that fact, and you just can't. You can't. I mean, it's got to, one unit has to play off the other. And even when you put in special teams, like that has to play a factor too. So, and you got to find your right fit, and it can't be hire your buddies and hire with, you've got to understand, and this takes stellar self-scouting, and this takes honest self-scouting, and you've got to hire some guys as analysts that are gonna do just that. They're gonna tell you the truth and tell you the brutal truth. And if you can't do that, then you'll always have your head in the sand. Like, there's only two people in this world, in the world of college football, that can talk to Kirby Smart a certain way, and he has hired both of those guys, Will Muschamp and Mike Bobo, two of his most trusted friends,
and Nick Saban, who loves him.
Yeah, three.
Yeah, and Nick Saban. Yeah, I mean, there's three people really, but two people. He's not going to hire Nick Saban, so that don't count really in this example. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hey Nick, you want to come be my defensive coordinator? I hear you're pretty good at it.
If you go to Facebook, whoever is doing a search, if you go on Facebook, they're going to hire somebody like Bill Belichick or some sort of. Tennessee's been having John Gruden season for 16 years.
Yes, they have.
Done with now, so.
They're got to monitor his emails though.
Yeah. I don't.
He's available.
Hey, if he gets a Gmail account, is it like what Hillary did?
Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh. All righty then.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, there's the GIF right there. There. Hold on. No, hold that pose. All right. Screenshot that.
Uh-oh. Somebody said who? Tennessee who?
Uh-oh.
Jeb?
It's on. It's on.
Jeb, who actually had a decent season. No, but I agree with what you're saying, though, Steve, because I saw that at Tennessee, too. As good as Josh Heupel's offense was, and it was great. It was a big improvement. I loved it. But I think what really complemented it and helped Tennessee actually have a decent season was the job Tim Banks did with the defense. And I agree with you. I think they just go together real well. What Tim Banks does on defense complements what Heupel does on offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Tennessee's got it right. I mean, Heupel, you're exactly right, Jeb. Heupel found his guy. Heupel knew. Heupel knows what he is, and he's able to adjust a little bit too. He's not rigid. I think Lincoln Riley's got a little rigidity to him, but
yeah,
Heupel is not rigid, and that's what I like about him. He's not rigid. He plays great complementary football. So, yeah, you're exactly right.
Lincoln Riley is the Kirby Smart on the other side of the ball. He is not going to do anything at the expense of his offense. Lincoln Riley's not. Kirby is going to play offense a certain way to protect his defense because his defense, as you saw this year, is good enough to win a national championship. So this year it worked out. But whenever you're an offensive guy and you do everything to protect that offense, man, you end up with some soft, weak defenses.
Yeah,
you can't do that. It only that philosophy really only works one way.
Yep,
and it doesn't barely work the other way. So, Kirby would bitch or Saban would bitch slap Kirby. Sorry, Jake, but no, he didn't. Saban didn't bitch slap Kirby on January 10th. So there you go.
Cody, Lincoln Riley did not want any of that SEC smoke. He got out of town as soon as he knew what was going on, and he recruited Oklahoma's players to be as petty as possible on his way out the door. What Tommy Tuberville did to Ole Miss, Lincoln Riley did times 10.
Yeah,
I want that Oklahoma SC game. I want to see it happen. I want them to go to Norman. I'm rooting for them in the Alamo Bowl next year.
Oh my God, that would be outstanding.
I mean, he went as far away from the SEC besides moving all the way to Hawaii to get away from them.
How about Todd Graham, by the way, screwing up the Hawaii head coaching job? There's no expectations down there. Just go down there and in paradise and have fun, and he managed to screw that up.
That's we call him on Illegal Motion. We call him Coach Bluetooth because you know how like coaches wear the headset and it's like got the ear muff and the boom microphone. He had, you remember the Bluetooth headpieces from earpieces from 2008?
Yeah,
where it's like just the little thing. Mm-hmm. That's basically what he had.
Yeah.
If you remember, look at him from his Arizona State days. I mean, he may wear a regular headset now, which kind of ruins the nickname, but we call him Coach Bluetooth. We talked about that on Illegal Motion.
I think the last 3 feet of a highway in Oklahoma heading towards Colorado was named for Lincoln Riley or something like that. By
Really?
legislative decree. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The last 3 feet of the highway out of the state.
Some teams get a little petty when they're upset. You remember the great song "Runaway Lane"? One of my favorite songs.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Runaway Lane, never coming back. Yeah. Of course, then he came back to SEC.
I remember there was 2. I used to listen to the song all the time, but there was 2 Ole Miss people who rewrote Margaritaville and did "Wasting Away" in Tommy Tuberville years ago. I love that song. It's so funny. It is.
Oh, speaking of which, there was a story. Speaking of Tommy Tuberville, this brings up a story. How Alabama's offensive line coach left Kentucky. The new offensive line coach, Jake, you've heard this, right?
Yeah.
He just up and left. Like he went on a recruiting trip wearing his Kentucky gear, and he did the old bait and switch and started recruiting the kid for Alabama. Just left, didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
And then the headline pops up.
This is my Tommy Tuberville story. In 1996 or 97, I forget the year because I'm so freaking old. I tried to walk on to Ole Miss's football team. And Tommy Tuberville was the coach at that time. So I went in and met with him and did my pre-meeting with it that he does with walk-ons. And he finally got to the questions like, what position do you play? And I told him, I was like, I'm a place kicker. He's like, oh, no, we got too many goddamn kickers. And from that point right there. And it was like, okay, awesome. I'll go back and just watch the games.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Coach Tuberville.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And that was the point the year before. It was like 6 kickers were used in a season because nobody could make a field goal. It was a lot like Alabama. Alabama would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Until we got real rocker.
How was Saban about to let an in-state 23 5-star cornerback go to A&M over Alabama? Jake, you want to take that one?
$30 million in NIL?
Yeah, I mean, that's about the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Well, it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm serious. If A&M, if they win 8 or 9 games this year, they're not going to get $30 million next year.
No.
It's not sustainable. Now, Ole Miss is building a nice, sustainable model with their NIL. They have 4 or 5 groups that are putting it together, including the Oxford Chamber of Commerce, that has different tiers to where you can donate $20, $30, $50 at a time, or you can do big ticket things and NIL can go through that. Obviously, watch out. I mean, it's no secret. Watch out with Lane with recruiting, but he's doing some things.
Yeah, the Ags locker. There's something going to happen in the Ags locker room. I don't know about jealousy with NIL money, but something's going to happen. And that 5-star cornerback from Alabama is going to probably end up at Alabama Thornton. It's usually how it works.
Yeah.
You know, because in-state guys
won't be
targets
Auburn.
like that.
Yeah, it won't be Auburn, that's for sure.
I mean, it happens at Georgia too. I'm sure it happens with Tennessee. I'm sure it happens with Ole Miss. You get a 5-star and they look elsewhere. He probably just went on a visit to A&M and loved it and committed. And that won't stick probably, I'll be honest with you, because it's Nick Saban.
It's like everybody looking at Arch Manning.
Yeah.
It's like, and until I hear otherwise, Arch Manning is going to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen, Steve. Here's what's going to happen with that. He's going to commit to Georgia.
No, I don't think he would do that. I don't think he's going to decommit. So wherever he commits is where he's going to go.
Well, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see him committing, thinking he really wants to go there, and then
this is so much like Eli's recruitment. It's scary. It really is. Replace Virginia with Georgia, and Texas is involved. I've seen this movie before, I think. And also remember, everybody needs to remember also, Cooper went to Ole Miss and his football career was taken from him. So he literally wants to put the family legacy intact. Yeah, it makes sense. And especially if Ole Miss wins this year. If they put it another season like last year, this year.
Yeah. It makes I keep hearing people saying he loves Georgia, he's this and that, and I'm like, that's great. I just don't think he's going to end up there. I think he's going to go to Ole Miss. I mean, I would love it. And it would be a big coup for my cousin, who is one of his lead recruiters. But and he was mentioned in an article with a quote from Arch Manning saying, "Hey, Buster Faulkner is one of the main reasons I really like Georgia, my relationship with Buster Faulkner." So, it's got to be a huge feather in his cap, because he's not a position coach yet. He's one of the designated analysts that's allowed to travel right now, because Georgia doesn't have 10 assistant coaches. So, and he's a good recruiter. So it remains to be seen, but it'll be a valiant effort.
Cody dropping some knowledge, by the way.
His dad is in the suites, but so was Peyton's dad. Where'd he go? Yeah. I'm just saying.
Ole Miss went on a shitload of preparation right before Peyton was to sign. Yeah. If that didn't happen, Cooper didn't get injured, Tennessee wasn't getting Peyton.
That's why.
And even Peyton would admit that.
We're the one on probation now. So.
Thornton, I agree with you. Yeah, we must get Peter Woods, and in addition to Jaleel or Tony will be great.
Kirby's got him. Kirby lock.
Probably, but Hey, a thing that's funny, did y'all see that cringeworthy TikTok video where Brian Kelly and that recruit the other day? That recruit committed to Alabama today.
Did you see Lane Kiffin bury Brian Kelly for doing that?
Yes.
That was even funnier.
That was, yeah.
Did you lose a bet?
Yeah.
Lose a bet?
That was so great.
Oh, I love my coach. I love him, my coach.
They had they had a still of that video side by side to Urban Meyer and the girl at the bar, and I think the little caption said, "What's the difference here?"
Who did
Brian
it
Kelly broke out a move I haven't seen since Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not only do you do the Uma Thurman, the Pulp Fiction, but you stand the wrong way, and you're supposed to stand back to back.
Yes.
And you're supposed to look cool.
I mean, he's humping the dude. He's
nut to
butt. The dude.
Nut to butt.
Yeah. It was so cringeworthy. It's awful.
and then a video comes out of him doing the trying to hit the gritty.
Yes.
The next day.
Frank Wilson put him up to that, and they decided to do that because Brian Kelly was getting murdered on social media for doing what he did, and Frank Wilson did that, and I know Frank. I mean, I was 2 doors down from Frank for 3 years. He is the number one yes man for any head coach, and that's just what he does. That is his role. And Frank Wilson, anytime you see a post from him, it is designed to deflect and help Brian Kelly.
What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hugh Freeze. By the way, Hugh Freeze was the other one.
Yes.
Freeze. Nut to butt, by the way, was a military term. I didn't just make that up. That's what they said whenever we were in line at the galley and told us, wanting us to close down. It was nut to butt.
Ooh.
I don't know what they did with my wife's division, but whatever.
Clam to butt?
Oh. And we're off the rails, folks. We are off the rails. Let's do it.
This is the best segment of the show.
Let's get back on the rails for a second.
NSD winners, Georgia, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss.
Yes.
And Kentucky. Apparently they offered $200,000 for Barry and Brown. So
yeah, there you go.
Congratulations.
Hope they can pay him. Barry and Brown from Pearl-Cone High School.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl-Cone. Yeah. So Georgia did most of their damage in December, but a great class nonetheless. Pulled a couple kids from Texas. I was really happy with that. So got 3 of the top 10, which was really good. With my favorite being Bear Alexander. That guy's going to be a man-child.
Yeah. Ole Miss did their damage in January in the transfer portal and got Jackson Dart, which everybody knows about, Michael Trigg, which most people knows about. They already had Zach Evans. They got Mason Brook. What they have done to restock what they lost is impressive, and I would literally put them in second place in the West right now.
Yeah, no,
I think so. I think so. Because I think they get more proven talent because through the transfer portal. I mean, Zach Evans is a dude, man.
Yeah.
Had it not been for a checkered past, he would be in a Georgia uniform. He had his letter of intent faxed. It was in Kirby's hand, and Kirby said, "Yeah, we just can't take it. Like, we just can't do it." And teams started freaking out, and then he ends up at TCU. But that, I mean, you watch his highlights coming out of high school, and even watch him at TCU. Like, that guy didn't belong at TCU. That guy was, like, by far the best guy on the field.
Well, you think about it. He is all the skills of Jerry and Ely and all the size of Snoop Connor in one package.
That's pretty scary. They're going to be good. They're going to be good, Steve.
Yeah, and they're talking about potentially Brew McCoy. They're looking at bringing him in from SC. They're looking at bringing Deion Smith in. So a couple of 4 stars and 5 stars are potential for June. Malik Heath will also be a June enrollee. So if you see Malik Heath and everything, he won't enroll till June because there's tampering stuff that prevents it from happening.
Old tampering.
Yeah, we apparently tampered with Jerry and Jones and Fab Lovett, and they ended up at FSU.
Nice.
So
you tampered them all the way there.
By the way, if another winner and when it speaks to the transfer portal is Southern Miss, I'm sorry, they start taking everybody, all the Mississippi State and all the, no,
basically the second teams for Ole Miss and State got picked apart by Southern Miss in the transfer portal, which that's going to make them unbelievably difficult to play with in Conference USA. They're going to be a legit team, especially with Ty Keys. I like Ty Keys a lot.
Yep.
Hey, and hats off to Vanderbilt.
Ooh.
Finishing 33rd in the country, which is probably better than I think they finished in the 80s last season.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Coach Roboto did a heck of a job.
Origato, Mr. Roboto, did a phenomenal job recruiting.
Clark Lee, a.k.a. the Borg.
The Cyborg, yeah. 28 signees this year. 28.
I mean, that's amazing. How do you recruit to Vandy? He did it somehow.
I imagine
early playing time.
Early playing time, and this degree is going to make you a ton of money.
Yeah.
Degree's going to make you a ton of money. We got some early playing time, and nobody else recruit. Yeah, you can play in the SEC.
Yeah, you're still in the SEC.
And we completely ruined our logo.
No,
change it back, Clark.
Yes,
Clark. Star V. That's what you need. That's where you're at.
If we want to talk about ruined logos, we have to go to the NFL. So, good old Washington.
Oh, the Commanders.
Oh my gosh.
It's any given Sunday.
It's all about those inches.
The 6 inches in front of your face.
Are we on the off the rails now?
We've been there.
Oh, Jay, that's not nice, buddy.
Commies. Oh. Cody.
Washington Commanders? Let's talk about the Washington Commanders. We're in their off the rails segment.
Yeah, let's do it.
What does everybody think about the name Washington Commanders and what they look like?
They should have stuck with Washington football team.
I agree 100%. Or something better.
It would have been a nice little FU for them, for people that made them change. I'm a fan of that. But I like the Commanders mainly because I was in the military, and I remember what Washington, D.C. was like. It's a military town. It really is. I was in D.C. really on 9/11. I got to see exactly what that town can do, and when it gets to high alert. And Washington Commanders actually fits. I don't know if the colors do, but I like that black uniform. That's the second helmet of the 2-shell rule. in the NFL that we've seen, and I kind of like that helmet.
But Steve, is there other military terms they could have used that would have been?
I would have liked Washington Admirals.
Like that would have been that would have been good.
I also saw Defenders potentially as well.
Yeah, the problem with Defenders is the DC Defenders playing in the XFL.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see, I would have liked Sentinels, but you can't do that because of.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That would have been.
I think that would have been great.
Sign Shane Falco now.
You get Gene Hackman as your head coach.
Oh man,
you're not gonna lose.
AOC would be the biggest cheerleader.
Yes, you would. Commies.
But I genuinely like it. I want to see what it looks like on the field. I think it would look all right. I like the logo, the military style with the lines above and below Commanders. It looks pretty military.
The crest is cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
but
see these uniforms.
They need to change the color scheme if they're going to go Commanders. They just need to.
Well, it's funny. They kind of did.
Nice, John.
They don't look like the Redskins looked. The uniforms, there's a classicness that was the Washington Redskins that is absolutely gone now. And it's going to make that burgundy look a little darker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And,
well, I like the matte finish on the helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they did a good job with the uniforms for the most part. I don't know, just something about it. I don't know. I mean, they're getting killed on social media, but
well, when they leaked,
they
it
could put
come
the
out a
perfect
few days.
uniforms on there. They would have been killed in social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it got leaked a few days ago, I was excited. I was like, so I got into one of my group chats on Twitter, and I put in there, I said, well, it looks like Washington is going with the name Commandos. I was like, uh-oh. I meant Commanders, but yeah, I put Commandos, and that was about 30 minutes of just me getting hammered. But anyway.
I mean, what about the, I don't know. There's so many other military terms you probably could have gone with, and Steve could really.
Generals?
Yeah.
Could they do generals?
They could, but they wanted something that was for all military, because basically, whenever you have a base, each base has a commander, no matter what's going on. So this is a way to make it about the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Marines. No matter what, you're going to have a commander. I know everybody's going to think about the commander-in-chief, but it's not about that. It's just about random people that are commanding these different bases.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those names. You'll get used to it. Like the Cleveland Guardians. I don't know if I can get used to that.
Cody, if they're not wearing cuffs, they're in trouble.
Don't say that when I'm drinking something.
Yeah.
Free ballers.
Cleveland Guardians. That sounds like something out of like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So like a
Cody,
Marvel thing.
The Commandos are gonna remix Tom Petty's "Free Fallin'."
Oh my God!
No, don't.
Free balling, yeah. Man.
Yeah, I'm free. Bow, bow, bow. I'm free balling. Yeah.
My balls are free.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten together, but I had a meeting with a lady that was a former producer from Mike and Mike in the Morning.
We just got done talking about balls, and you talking about a woman.
Well, no, I'm changing the subject because I'm trying to be the adult in the room.
Since when?
Since he met with this lady from ESPN.
Yeah.
We're trying not to get canceled.
Yeah.
Speaking of free balling.
But she gave me ideas for segment construction and segments within segments and things like that. And it's something that we can incorporate it to what we do. We have 3. We just, sort of.
Well, we're already in the
we started off the rails, and everybody gave a sentence on NSD winners.
Yep.
So I mean, but
is that bad for NSD though? That this is where we are in the February National Signing Day.
Oh, today I did nothing. I didn't even care about today.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked when Malik Heath announced.
I had to look it up. Oh, who did we sign today? Steve, it used to be shut down the office.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It used to be a 18-hour day for us.
Mm-hmm.
It was that and the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament were the two big long hour days that me and Corey had to put up
John.
with.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, by the way, just so everybody knows, when it comes to Rivals or 24/7 or On3,
they're all the same.
Whenever you get a commit, there's a minimum of stars that we just had to put in that player was never looked at if he wasn't on the list whenever you signed on signing day. So if he was a 5.5 3-star, it was probably put in for somebody like me and Corey that was just importing that information in when we were putting in the signing class, because we were the ones that were putting in the signing class.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Now, granted, we know a lot about football, but we didn't really break down an Akron wide receiver.
When we are on when we are in the middle of our Hawaii list, which is the last list that we do, and we're halfway through the list, I don't even care what position they are. You're a 3-star, bud.
Hey, do you remember when John Leggett accidentally put that player in as a 4-star, and they were the winner of the MAC in recruiting?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This Marshall.
And then we were trying to figure out how to walk it back and do whatever they had to do, but they had already gone public with winning recruiting, and it was all just a typo to where whenever he did the drop down, he selected 4-star instead of 3.
Oh my gosh.
I remember that. I remember that. That was, oh boy.
That's great.
That is the real inside baseball behind On3 and Rivals and 247.
Yes.
Don't take it too serious, guys.
It
don't.
It is what it is. No.
Yeah.
We don't. It's so far from an exact science. Just because A&M has the best recruiting class.
It's On3 has NIL evaluations now, where they just put out dollar amounts of each player's worth. It's according to who?
Yeah, that's a slippery slope right there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd go with
what
that
do you do?
model.
It's kind of like the Pro Football Focus guys. It's this is the third-rated offensive guard in the NFC West. There's no way you have enough people to staff this. It would not make money if this was staffed at the level it needed to be at. You're guessing, you're putting out a number, and you're fooling people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to take stock in all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun to read, and you take it with a big grain of salt, and all it is just a big old approximation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And it takes, just because you have the number 1 class doesn't mean you're going to do anything with it. Alabama's been fortunate enough that they've had good coaches that develop these 5-stars into national champions.
That's the key.
Other schools can't say the same.
Mm-hmm. Coaching is the key.
But coaching is and will always be key. You have to recruit. You have to get the talented ones there. Then you have to coach them up when they are there.
Yeah. If everybody, me and Corey and Jake and Jeb can go in and find a 5-star at a high school football game. They jump off the field. It's amazing. Once you see a 4-star, it's a little bit tougher. Once it's a 3-star, it's very system specific. And he says Patrick Willis was a 2-star. That's because he was in the sticks and nobody was going out to Brewston to scout him. And he just happened to be fairly close to Ole Miss and within Ole Miss's halo. Back when they did halos.
That dude is a stud.
Mm.
Yeah.
My God.
And
he played half his college career with a club on his hand.
Yeah.
I think he did that for fun.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
You guys want to hear a funny story?
Well, of course.
I've heard this one. I know. Go ahead and tell them. This one's good.
So Patrick Willis walked into the coach's office, into the video room, and told me, he's like, I don't care what you're doing. You're going to stop cheating on your wife. And I'm like, I'm not cheating on my wife. No. I don't want to hear about anything. You're going to stop cheating on your wife. I'm like, Pat, I'm not cheating on my wife. I go straight from here home. He's like, I'm not going to have this argument. I'm telling you right now. And if I find out y'all meet again, we're going to have a problem. Well, it turns out one of my video guys was telling people that he was the video coordinator trying to pick up a girl who happened to be friends with Patrick Willis. So Patrick Willis, there's no way I could outrun Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis would take me down in a heartbeat. He would have absolutely broken me. But this is something my wife can live on for everybody, because she got stood up for by Patrick Willis. Even if it wasn't true, she got stood up because my wife is such a good person and everybody likes her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it really wasn't me.
It's like, what are you talking about? And he told the story. He's like, an antique store? What are you talking about? Because apparently he was going to the antique store and hitting on a girl. It's like, I'm not going to an antique store. Why would I be in an antique store?
Not unless your wife took you there.
Yeah, not unless my wife took me there. And then
if I'm there, Becky's with me.
Yeah. But me and Patrick worked it out. You know,
good.
Fine.
And you're still telling us a story, so obviously
I'm not drinking my food. So
there you go.
Yeah, but that's a cool story. Patrick Willis stood up for my wife, even if he was wrong, but he stood up for my wife.
Is he doing anything nowadays?
I think he was a tech guy out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Actually, he probably does. I heard a story that somebody conned him out of basically his NFL savings and through a tech scheme out there. But he is apparently doing fairly well now.
Good.
Damn.
Oh, and he should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was pretty good at football.
Yeah, just a little bit.
He's pretty good at football. You know who else is pretty good at football? Joe Burrow. He's pretty
Joe
good.
Burr.
Joe Burr, he's so icy.
Thank you, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
Oh my gosh, Jackson Mahomes is no longer on social media. He's not going to do a TikTok at the Super Bowl. Thank you.
God.
Thank you, Joe.
He probably will.
Joe Burrow has ended our long national nightmare.
Yes.
Maybe.
I was gonna say, if I was Jackson, I'd try and get a ticket.
I'd find a way to get on the field. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes could pull that off.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Don't know how to pull off winning the AFC Championship game though.
Everybody was saying it was when it was 21-3. It's like, oh, this game's over. Pat Mahomes is at another level, and then Joe Burrow for the that dude is good, man.
But
He's Drew Brees. He's Drew Brees.
What was so strange was, of course, Kansas City wins the toss in overtime.
But they ball like a girl.
I mean, they didn't even try to run it any. They just gave the ball to Mahomes. Boom, boom, boom. 3 straight passes, and they were awful. And then the third one was an interception.
Mike Hilton on Tyreek Hill. Boom, go Ole Miss. That should be on every recruiting tape for the DBs from now until the end of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's with every game you can pick out probably 4 or 5 plays, and that's probably the difference in the game. But the number one play that was the difference in that game, you're going into halftime. Tyreek Hill gets stuffed at the goal line. The only play Eli Apple ever made in that game. He stuffed him at the goal line. They get nothing. And instead of being a 17-point game, it's an 11-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe Burrow had a decent game, but their defense is what really got them through these last 2 games.
They just they started getting through to Mahomes. They started overwhelming him, and that's what made the difference. Because he couldn't gain any traction. He couldn't step into throws.
And he's uncharacteristically throwing picks, which is the same thing Tannehill do 3 picks in this game. Patrick Mahomes coming through at least 3 in that game, I think. It just,
I mean, their defense is legit.
Yeah, it's not one you think about when you think about great defenses, but that's what got them to the Super Bowl.
One thing that would just put the cherry on the top on the worst season ever for the New Orleans Saints would be Eli Apple making Super Bowl MVP.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No,
but that would be awesome.
He sure had the interception that could have sent them to the Super Bowl in his hand, and he Jacksonville Jaguared the shit out of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Flores got fired because he didn't tank the game versus the Bengals. That gave the Bengals the first pick of that draft. Well, knowing what we know about that, speaking of off the rails, knowing what we know about that situation, that might be true.
Well,
that he was asked to tank games.
That's a fun conspiracy theory, but they were Team Tua from the very beginning. I'm Team Tua now, by the way, but they were Team Tua from the very beginning. So I think the Dolphins, even if they had the number 1 pick, would have taken Tua.
Yeah.
I like Tua a lot, actually. It takes a lot to say that because I just can't stand Alabama. But Tua was a great quarterback, and I think they ended up with the right person. So.
He got better as the year went on.
Well, they got to have offensive line. They can't protect him to save his life.
Yeah, their best left tackle's playing for Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I say Tua has been great. I'm just saying I agree with Steve. I think that's the guy they were looking at and who they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they got him. So what are they complaining about?
Yeah, no.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think Joe Burrow does what Joe Burrow does with the Dolphins that he's doing with the Bengals, because the difference is Zach Taylor. Like, Zach Taylor's good.
Yeah.
We
didn't know he was good, but he's good.
True.
Like Tannehill's
Kenneth
best
Ford,
years.
you shut up! Don't you?
Oh.
You take that evil back, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Oh,
that'd be hilarious. Flo might be, in seriousness, in all seriousness, Flo might be the coach in New Orleans.
that's a good point.
What the Ryan guy?
Huh?
He knows how to rebuild a franchise. I can see.
Rob Ryan?
No, Flores.
Oh, you said Flo. Talking about the hair. I was like, okay.
No.
Rob Ryan was
I
already.
don't
like,
think he's going to get
as in
a
short
job
for-
while he's suing everybody right now.
Yeah, I'm worried about him getting blackballed.
Well, the Saints
for
said
what
they
he's
didn't
doing.
care. I don't think the Saints care.
The Saints should honestly hire him because the Dolphins made such a big jump. Yeah. I don't think Tua was the right type quarterback for what he wanted to do. Brian Flores did not fit Tua.
No.
And because of that, Justin Herbert would have been perfect for what Brian Flores wants to do. So you find that quarterback that can do that, whether it is Sam Howell or Matt Corral, somebody that can just send the ball and push it down the field. That would help Brian Flores because he's going to take care of that defense. But I want Dennis Allen. That would be pretty good for me. I'm a big Dennis Allen guy. I love what he's done with the defense the last couple of years.
Gets his redemption shot. Because wasn't he the head coach for the Raiders? I think everybody was at some point.
Yeah.
It's a long list.
Yeah.
Matty Corral to Pittsburgh. That'd be fun.
Cody,
Boy,
I can see that.
Him and Najee would be a threat for years for Pittsburgh in that offense.
Who's Najee?
Watch out for Kenny.
Najee Harris. You know who Najee is.
Watch out for Kenny Two Gloves.
Okay. Teddy Two Gloves.
Hmm.
Drew Lock's going to New Orleans.
I think Tennessee needs to draft a quarterback because I just don't trust Tannehill.
If a good one falls, I wouldn't have a problem with it. At this point, Tennessee has a lot of people they could draft in their position, and I would be happy with.
Yeah, you're right about that, but I just do not trust Tannehill.
This is what Tennessee needs to do. They need to stick with Tannehill for the next couple of years, draft Malik Willis, put him on the Steve McNair program, and build him up and let him start in like year 3. Year 1, just tell him you're not even going to go out there.
Tannehill's the starter next year either way. So yeah,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean,
probably next 2 years.
I think if you can get Malik Willis, do that. But there's not much in this draft that you're going to be able to get that's going to be worthwhile. This is not a strong class for quarterbacks. It's just not.
Yeah, well,
I think Tennessee's going to have to pick up some depth in the free agent market, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be some guys available, like a Trubisky or somebody like that I think that could come in and maybe like give you some depth. But otherwise, I just don't see it. Like, because you're going to have to overdraft Howell. You're going to have to overdraft Corral. You're going to have to overdraft, some of these other players. And
Howell's a trap, by the way. Sam Howell's a
very much a trap. I think outside of Pickett and Corral, the rest of the quarterbacks in this draft are all projects.
Yeah.
Even Malik Willis. Malik Willis is probably the most talented project.
Malik Willis against Ole Miss did not look good. He ran the ball and got loose a couple of times, but he threw 3 interceptions, and he just did not look good.
If you're a defensive player, if you're looking for defensive players, this is the draft that you want.
Also, if you need a quarterback really, really bad and you don't want to play around and get one this year, tank. Bryce is going to be available in the first pick next year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then Will Anderson
JT Daniels is going to be available. Stetson Bennett's going to be available next year, too.
Stetson Bennett has 6 months to get all of his NIL deals in place to survive for the rest of his life. He's got 6 months to make it happen.
No, he's going to go to UGA North, which is the New York Giants.
Oh, well, there you go.
The North Campus.
Well, who does Atlanta need to draft, Corey, since you're the Atlanta Falcons fan around here? Everybody?
Yeah, they need defensive line. They need offensive line. They need a wide receiver. They need corners. They need something, a little bit of everything.
So they need to draft a new team.
They need to draft an entire defense. I mean, I would like to see him. I love Cody.
Yeah.
I would like to see him draft. If they draft like Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, somebody like that to bolster their defensive front, that would be a good pick. I think if they draft another first rounder out of Alabama receiver, J-Mo, that would be a good pick. They need weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts ain't it.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, he's not. He can't be the only one.
J-Mo feels like Las Vegas.
Yeah, he could be.
I mean, that's the feeling. Somewhere. It's like Henry Ruggs. They always do the straight line speed guy.
Yeah, J-Mo ain't just straight line speed. J-Mo's a stud. I mean, they need.
So was Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, they need linebackers in the O-line.
Yeah, until.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
like his career.
Saints are $60 million over the salary cap. Next year is not going to be good for me.
Oh, yikes. That's not good at all.
If the Falcons draft Sam Howell, I'm out.
Henry Ruggs can go 160. Oh, my God. Oh, that is awful.
Oh, boy.
Off the rails. Off the rails.
Oh, boy.
By the way, have y'all seen the 65 million? Jesus. Have y'all seen the preview for the Batman?
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks so good. Like,
yes,
it's giving me the feelings that I had back when the Tim Burton preview was coming out for the original Batman. Those are the type feelings it was stirring. And if they make Batman sparkle in the sunlight or something, I'm gonna have a problem. But
it is Robert Pattinson. So
yeah,
he will never live that role down.
Yeah.
They do that as the problem, but it looks so good. I love the fact that the Riddler is essentially a serial killer, and the Penguin is basically a gangster.
Yep.
I just like it, and I think they're going to introduce the Joker, whoever the Joker is going to be. It's going to be good.
Hey, it's like a 3.5-hour movie. I think I saw.
Oh yeah,
potential. I mean, it's going to be a long movie.
I mean, it's no Mortal Kombat, but I mean, it's going to be great.
It's no Little Giants.
Yeah.
My favorite player, Becky the Ice Box.
Icebox.
No. I think it's going to be kind of a slow burn detective movie. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good.
Those year one Long Halloween comics were some of the best for Batman, and it's kind of where they're basing it off of. So.
Since we're off the rails, does anybody here have y'all ever watched any of the James Bonds?
Oh, I've seen them all.
Okay, who is the best Bond ever?
Oh, well, okay. If we're gonna have this conversation, what are you looking for in your Bond? Because because there are three that are acceptable, and I do not include Roger Moore. Roger Moore was a campy Bond. He's like Adam West from Batman.
I got you.
But if you look for just like the pure toxic masculinity of it all and everything, Sean Connery can't be beat. It's like, it's fantastic. If you just want
back and watching his Bond is amazing.
Yeah, if you go back and watch those early Bonds, it's like, whoa, they got away with that.
Yeah.
It's like
going out the room. Oh.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes.
If you are looking for the debonair, like super smooth Bond, probably the best is Pierce Brosnan. Goldeneye is one of the best movies in the series. But if you want just a pure, just gritty, gut punching Bond, Daniel Craig is fantastic.
Yeah.
My favorite movie is Skyfall out of the whole Bond series. I love Skyfall. And I've watched that like 3 times.
I'm a huge fan of Casino Royale.
Yeah, Casino Royale is
fantastic.
Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond.
Daniel Craig's top 3 for me, for sure.
His movies are good. I just think the stuff
that
he does, the stunts that he does, yeah. GoldenEye is the greatest video game of all time. Odd Job with the golden gun is a cheat code.
Yes, it is.
It is a cheat code. We had a rule that you could not be Odd Job.
Cody,
Yeah.
Put galore. Yeah, that was a good one.
that goes to the Sean Connery. But it's fantastic in its own little way.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go in there and see all the misogyny or whatever's going on with those movies, that would probably overshadow all the rest that's going on. But those are genuinely good movies if you can get past that.
They are.
And Goldfinger with the Pussy Galore stuff is a fantastic movie.
Did you say Gold Member?
No, I'm a huge fan of the Austin Powers. But
not a vagina.
Yeah.
I love vagina.
Sorry, I'm just not getting that.
Big surprise if anybody wants a James Bond movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's the one-off. Sean Connery's stunt double took over as the James Bond for one movie. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it. I don't want to do spoilers for 50 years later.
I'll be right back.
Well, you had 50 years to do it. Yeah, GoldenEye. I love GoldenEye. That's my favorite Pierce Brosnan one. I think GoldenEye's great. Casino Royale is really good. And then, of course, the Sean Connery version of.
Nice.
Oh wow!
This is a collection of every James Bond movie that I, from the beginning up until Skyfall, right here that I have. I love it.
Also, Live and Let Die is surprisingly good. That's before they ruined Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Before they got into The Man with a Golden Gun and Moonraker. Yeah.
Yeah, Moonraker I did not like at all.
Yeah.
He was not the best Bond. I like him as an actor.
The best one is Never Said Never Again. Just because Sean Connery's got the male pattern baldness. And the obviously Just for Men dye job over there that he is about 5 years past his prime. Yeah. Then they recreated Thunderball. All it is Thunderball. It's the same movie, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. I'll take 500. I'll take Thunderball for 500. Trebek.
I'll take Schwartz for 100.
John,
I'll take the penis mightier.
Now.
John, I'm not sure how much it is on Amazon. I actually got that for a Christmas gift, so I didn't have to use any of my money to get it. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how much it was.
Yeah,
Also,
Sean Connery's best role was on Celebrity Jeopardy for sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but there's a channel on Pluto TV. If you get that app, you can watch Pluto TV.
Yes.
And they have a James Bond channel where they just play James Bond movies on repeat.
Oh, nice.
Okay, check that out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just get the box like Jake has.
Yeah, I'm not that cool.
No. Well, we know that.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about? What did you think? Have y'all seen the last Bond?
I haven't seen it
Skyrim?
yet.
The No Time to Die?
No
Time-
Time-
it's
no, I have
to
not
Die.
seen No
I've
Time
not
to
seen
Die.
it yet.
I need to see
Okay.
it.
Well, I
Yeah.
won't ruin it.
Yeah.
Is it on HBO? Can I get it on HBO?
It's probably pretty close. No, it's probably going to go straight to Stars for some reason.
Probably so. I've heard about it, and from what I've been hearing about it, I'm probably not going to like the ending, but I'll have to watch it to see.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's probably it's probably in the top 2 best Daniel Craig Bonds.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Do you think
But
I'll
it's
change
a
my-
little bit different. It's a little bit different. Because if you remember on Skyfall, they did the thing where they kind of lived in the world between Pierce Brosnan and the future. And by the end of that movie, they kind of gone back to the 1960s Bond setup with the different M and everything, the look of everything. So this one is more of a Sean Connery type Bond movie with Daniel Craig.
Nice. Yeah, I got to check that out.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Minus the misogyny.
It takes away from it a little bit, but all right.
Yeah, you gotta have a little.
I
Bond's
still
gotta
watch
be a
it.
little misogynistic.
Yeah.
That's just who he is.
I mean, he's always been that.
Did y'all ever watch the cartoon growing up, James Bond Jr.?
No.
I never heard of it.
Jesus.
Yeah, there was a cartoon when I was a kid. It was James Bond Jr. I think it was on Nickelodeon.
Wow. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
idea.
Hold on.
James Bond Jr.
Steve, I don't know if you can share your screen or not, but I'm going to find this on YouTube. Y'all continue on. Give me 1 second.
I mean, SpongeBob is on Nickelodeon, but it's kind of adult themed. So, it's they kind of pushing.
I can't share a screen.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Can I post in the chat? That's the question. Yes, I can.
Well, doo-doo. I've already deleted I X'd out my chat over here.
Oh, you better re-X into it.
I hate the SpongeBob theme song. Are you ready, kids?
All of these shows are too young for me. And things like the Jetsons and the Flintstones and things like that, even though I watched them growing up, they're a little bit too old for me. So I'm in that thing where that middle ground where Thundercats and Voltron and G.I. Joe.
I watched all of them on Boomerang. Mm-hmm. They replayed some of the old ones. So, yeah.
There you go.
Just to answer your question, the James Bond collection is around $100.
There you go.
Oh,
See,
okay.
we're all researching. This is great radio.
Yeah, there you go. I'll play it on
Nobody
the
saying a
internet.
word.
But just a second. Let me figure out how to do this.
Oh, I see. James Bond Jr.
I do remember Thundar the Barbarian.
Like Jaws. Like Jaws was a main villain. And James Bond Jr.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Probably had a crush from the girl in Thunder the Barbarian.
You did? Oh.
No,
Oh,
Steve.
Steve did. Oh.
Steve.
What? We're crushing on cartoon characters? What the hell?
Not said Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah. Jessica Rabbit.
She's not bad. She's just drawn that way. You just think about Nerd. Whoever came with the idea of Jessica Rabbit is a severely, let's say, lonely person.
Yeah. But he made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad, Steve, you got that right away. I didn't have to go further. I've got
Hank from the Junction blog going to come on and talk Lane and Jimbo tomorrow on my show. That's going to be so much fun.
That is.
Because I did post today that Texas A&M is going to spend $100 million and go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
I did see that.
He's probably going to have some not so nice things to say from you.
That's what I'm hoping, really. I was going to do an extra video.
Tila from Masters University, yeah.
Tila from Masters University, yeah.
Tila. He-Man.
I mean, Lois Griffin. No.
Whew.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to break out a Meg Griffin.
Yeah. Oh. Shut up, Meg.
The absolutely hilarious thing is Meg Griffin.
Shut up, Meg.
Meg Griffin is voiced by Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Yes.
So ironic.
I also love that a deep cut in A Million Ways to Die in the West. Whenever he's speaking the Indians' language out in the world, whenever he says fine, the word is Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. That was the corniest movie ever, but it was so. I mean, it's so
I enjoy that
funny.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Oh man.
This is your cinematography minute.
Wow. You never know what you're going to get on this show, boys.
Yeah, seriously. We probably need to shut it down because we've been doing it for an hour and a half.
Hey, next week, we're going to talk all about the music industry. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. We can have a whole show on just music.
Yes. Can we talk Nickelback?
Oh, my gosh.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, no, check this out. Look at this photograph.
I'm out on that. I'm going to take a vacation next week.
Steve brings in Nickelback. I'm bringing in Limp Bizkit, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
I did it all for the Dookie.
And I got Kid Rock on deck.
Nice.
Which one? We got to know.
You've got to know right here.
What
Follow
type
the
of kid?
bar.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Gotta go
least-
original.
Yeah.
It's got-
Original single. Bar with the bar, the bang, the bang, dig it, say the jungle, say the boogie.
Yeah.
Maybe a
got
little Papa Roach.
Hey.
Cut my life into pieces.
This is my last resort.
Suffocation and no breathing. Man, we are.
I get
We set off the rails, guys.
Yeah.
We didn't lie.
Are we
Yeah,
going off the rails of a crazy
Hey.
train?
Are
Hey,
we
we might
going off the rails? We've been off the rails for 20 minutes.
Hey.
20 minutes.
40 minutes.
Maybe like 90 minutes.
Yeah. If y'all got all of them, then I'm bringing in Lil Jon the Eastside Boys.
We said legitimate artist, Jake. Legitimate.
369, damn, you're fine. Check it to me one more time. Get low.
Speaking of 3-6, she's a two-way freak. A two-way freak.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
I think we all need to. I think we're a little sleep deprived.
Little 2 Live Crew.
I'm just going to play some Waylon Jennings on here. Boom.
Oh, Lord.
And since I'm the one that runs the board, y'all are screwed.
That's true.
Hey, add some instinct. Yeah. Add some instinct and Backstreet Boys. We're good.
The batshit boys.
The Backstreet Boys. Yeah.
The Batshit Boys. That's our group. That's our band.
Yeah.
We're the Batshit Boys.
There we go. I do have a bass guitar.
There you go. I'm just the crazy lead singer that does crazy stuff.
All right. Who's the drummer?
Steve.
All right. Jeb's electric guitar.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you know if there's a bad drummer at your door? The knock speeds up.
Okay. See what you did there.
Yeah.
See what you did there. Well, on that note, we are the SEC After Dark podcast for Jake, for Jeb, and Steve. I'm Corey Burton. So long, and bye. We out.
That's bad.
Shout out to you, Jake.
Bye.
Jake, you should put
So
that
bad.
NSYNC poster up that I sent you.
I'll do that next week.
Oh, God.